Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and salutations to you. Welcome back to another Grim Dawn build review, preview, guide, not guide, it isn't a guide, thingy, places and stuff. We are here reviewing Nidalla's Witch Hunter once again. A build I chatted about to you all, oh geez, it was about a month ago now, as of the time of this recording anyway. It was about level 50 or so, and we were at the end of Veteran, if I'm not mistaken, and now we are at sort of the end of Act 1 Ultimate, which is pretty cool. So this build is holding up. Currently, this build is level 77, and around this time I'd actually normally be doing a final build guide because it's more or less complete in terms of skill selection, but I'm quite taken by this build. I'm really enjoying it and want to get it right, especially with the gear, because we're still not quite there, I feel, with the gear selections to make this build actually recommendable. As is, it's even still really fun, but there's something within me that just wants to get this 100% right. But that's still probably going to be a while off because there's specific gear that I'm trying to grind for. So, yeah, that in lieu of the fact that I can't really get the proper gear right now, and we'll be continuing to work on that, or at least close to the proper gear, I thought I'd just, show you guys how it's going, as it were. So, of course, level 77, we've come a long way since. We're on the Nightblade tree first, so let's have a look. So since last time, this skill, Merciless Repertoire, has changed to have flat poison damage on top of it, as it were, or added to it, 3.4k at 12 out of 12 rank over 5 seconds, which is pretty dang sweet. I ain't complaining about that. That very much helps the build, I must say. These still at 1 out of 1. Really, I've just been progressing through this tree, as it were, maximizing the skills I wanted to maximize. I've got Nidalla's Justifiable Ends currently to 12 out of 12, which is including plus skills, because the minus recharge and 16.1k poison damage plus 50% crit plus 200% poison damage is pretty dang insane. It is a huge nuke, and it's very fun. Especially coupled with Tainted Eruption, which I now have access to, and we'll get to in just a moment. The dual-wielding skill, more or less the same. I might pop a couple more points into dual blades for the pierce damage, but we'll see how we go with that. Nidalla's Hidden Hand at 11 out of 8 right now, which is adding a lot of good, juicy stuff to our other dual-wielding procs, which is very nice. Lethal Assault at 12 out of 12, maxed right now. When it triggers, we get a whole bunch of good stuff there. I had always intended to max this out. Maybe even push it to ultimate ranks if I can find the right gear. We'll see how we go. Yeah, and just working through Pneumatic Burst and Shadow Dance and putting a few points in Elemental Awakening as well, because I probably still am struggling a little bit with elemental resistances, so having that on board is very nice. And maximize Night's Chill as well, doing minus 30% poison and acid resistance, as well as some other stuff there, which isn't as pertinent, but still nice. And considering putting more points in Veil of Shadow, because the radius improves as you put more points in here. And of course, there's got some debuffs to enemies as well, which are useful, minus offensive ability and minus total speed, both of which are kind of nice. But the radius makes that more and more effective. So I might put that to at least 5 out of 10, and then maybe get some plus skills. We'll see how we go. I managed to max Occultist out as well, which is awesome and good, although we are not taking much from this mastery. Blood of Dreig, currently maxed, very good, I'm happy with that. Aspect of the Guardian, I'm not going too crazy for it. I mean, more points in it will give us more physical resistance, which would be nice. Of course, the plus damage, very tasty as well, but not super imperative right now, it doesn't feel like, because we've still got some work to do in Nightblade. Oh, in case I didn't mention, I did put a point in Blade Barrier, because that's very nice in saving our lives. And then Possession maxed at 12 out of 12. Pushing it to ultimate ranks doesn't get us more damage absorption, but it will give us more chaos resistance, which might be nice, and of course more damage types, which are always delicious and good. That's really about it. Just really progressing the build with the existing skills, which we probably more or less all had selected, maybe with the exception of Possession, because we weren't maxed out in Occultist at that point. Devotion going really well. We made it. We got 45 out of 50 points, so we made it down this arm of the Abomination, giving us Tainted Eruption, which I've currently got at rank 7 out of 10, giving us 20.1k poison damage over 5 seconds in a 10-meter radius with Confused Target for 1.8 seconds. Man, what a skill. I've got that bound to Shadow Strike as well, so 50, it's basically a coin flip, 1 in 2 chance to trigger, and nuke the shit out of everything in that radius. You've got to be a little careful because with Shadow Strike in this combined, there's a real temptation to blast in the middle of packs and try and nuke everyone, but it's 1 in 2 chance it might not trigger, and then you're just stuck in the middle of a pack, causing lots of problems, and it's not fun. Giant's Blood, in case I didn't mention it last time, I have got that now, which is a nice heal spell. We definitely would have had Manticore last time around. So to get to Abomination as well, I should mention, I ended up taking the Spider Constellation, maxing that out because it's got some decent stuff. As you can see, 8% Chaos Resistance on that node, some damage reduction and offensive and defensive ability. Some decent stuff. I can't really complain. It's a decent little constellation to help push to that. So also I've got Jackal, Rat, and Acheron's Scorpion, and of course, as I mentioned, Manticore, which all contribute to the green needed for Abomination. I'm pretty okay with that. Worked out pretty nicely, and with all that invested, I was able to buy back the Crossroads of Eldritch. So that was cool. Now, for the rest of my points, I'm pretty much looking to spend them on defensive perks because this build is a little bit on the squishy side, at least for now, while we've got less than ideal gear. So at the moment, I may have already had Tortoise, but in case I didn't, I've got Tortoise as a defensive skill bound to Possession, and all those defensive perks are really quite nice. Currently working through Eel as well, because that gives us more defensive ability and a chance to avoid attacks, which is kind of nice. Extra movement speed here as well, and pierce resistance, which is also sweet. And then I probably maybe get Sailor's Guide. I'll see what unlocks once I get Eel, but basically trying to get defensive stuff. Geez, I might even be able to get some Cleansing Waters action happening. I'll have to think about that, actually. This might not be the worst way to go. Why did I not think of that earlier? I've got neither of the things. I'd have to finish Eel. I probably won't have enough points. I'd really have to finagle it to try and make that happen. But anyway, that's where devotions are at. The main centerpiece, of course, is getting the Tainted Eruption skill. It's freaking amazing. I love it. It's super, super fun. Yeah, awesome, cool beans. Now, gear-wise, the main predicament that currently befalls me is I'm wielding 2 Venom Lashes right now, and that has gone well for the longest time. Now, since reaching level 75, I think it is, I've been able to wield this puppy, the Plague Bearer of Dreeg. As you can see, if we were to wield it, our offhand DPS, on paper DPS anyway, would go quite significantly higher. Now, there's a lot of good things this offers. It offers more flat poison damage. It also offers, well, that's really it in terms of a direct comparison. It offers less % damage to our main damage types. Also converts physical to acid damage. Yada yada yada. It has nowhere near as much attack speed as a Venom Lash, of course. But then it's got this epic skill, Plague of Dreeg. 10% chance on attack. It lasts for 6 seconds, doing nearly 1.1k poison damage per second, but also debuffs the crap out of enemies. Minus 15% total speed, and minus 25% to poison and acid resistance, as well as chaos resistance, but that's not so pertinent to us, compared to the Venom Lash skill, which is basically a 10% chance to trigger a decent main hand weapon damage and acid damage, nuke, attack, bomb thingy. It also does nice damage, I must say. But yeah, I can't make up my mind one way or the other, which way to go. Look, I'll show you. Maybe you guys have... This is the main thing right now that I'd love your guys' feedback on. So let me know what you reckon out of these two. So here we go, wielding the Plague Bearer of Dreeg. So as you can see, our attacks are quite slow and loping. They're nowhere near as snappy and delicious, which is not cool. But I mean, it's just, this debuff hits everyone. Oh, there's Tainted Eruption for you, by the way. It's nice. So yeah, we're much slower, but I'm feeling like that debuff is doing more than I might be noticing, because that's a significant amount. In addition to Veil of Shadow, that's quite a lot of poison and acid resistance we are removing from our enemies. So here's the clear speed on just trash mobs with that. Now we'll swap back to the other Venom Lash. So we got dual Venom Lash. To be quite honest, I don't intend on wielding both Venom Lashes forever if I can find better gear, like better weapons, which there are some around. In particular, I think the Venom Blade set comes with weapons, which would be awesome. And there's a couple other nominees probably that I could find if I can dredge them up in the world. I don't know if I can, but I can certainly try. I'll just try and find a few more trash mobs here. So these are the two Venom Lashes. As you can see, our attack speed is much, much, much higher, which is nice. But yeah, just the nuke damage and the debuff isn't there. So, like, they effectively feel the same to me. I know, like, there's positives and negatives to both. Another positive, of course, with the Venom Lash, which I didn't actually mention, is it gives us +3 to Merciless Reptile and +2 to Blood of Dreeg, both of which are integral skills to this build, whereas the Plague Bearer of Dreeg offers neither of those. It has plus skills, but not the plus skills that we're using. So that's a kind of a negative, but I have to take that with a grain of salt, because like I said, there may be better weapons for us down the track. We'll have to figure that out. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about that. I'll just try to clear a little bit of space so our discussions can continue. So, see, as you can see, we can take some pretty hard hits, and that's not super fun, because our defensive ability, I mean, if I switch on pneumatic burst, it sits at 1.7k defensive ability, which isn't bad for right now, but for like a dual wielding melee build, it's not super great. Our offensive ability is under a reasonable amount of control. It catapults well over 2k once all our skills are triggered and stuff, so that's not really a concern right now. As for other gear, I've got Viper Fang grips, which are very nice, and I've got Venom Spine greaves on the boots, both of which I'd probably more or less consider best in slot for this build, just for the damage and all the other awesome deliciousness it offers. They've got resistances and what have you as well, which are all very nice and good. I'm using a Badge of Mastery over there, which is not perfect, 100% great. It's pretty cheap to craft, and the granted skill on it is helping with our survivability. That's 100% chance on enemy death to do a whole bunch of defensive stuff, as well as offensive ability, actually, which is quite nice. Tinker's Ingenuity I tend to use quite a lot because it's a nice defensive belt, helping to keep us alive. Relic, this is another problem because I don't have a mythical relic recipe that's relevant to this build. There's a couple, Malediction and Dreeg's Affliction, I think. Dreeg's something. There's a couple of really nice mythical relics, neither of which I can craft because I haven't found the recipes, so that kind of sucks. Everything else is fairly commonplace right now. Empowered Sliscale leg wraps, not bad for now because I can't find anything else. Empowered Fused Carapace armor. I was just using the normal Carapace armor before in the last video, so that is pretty stock standard. Terror of the Grove, again, decent, but this is actually a Shaman helmet, so it's not great for us, really. An Empowered Ring of Violent Intent, I actually just found this yesterday, and is pretty dang nice, I have to say. It's quite decent, especially the elemental resistances. I am quite pleased with that. So yeah, not quite there. I mentioned the Venom Blade set. I really want to find some Venom Blade stuff, because that's actually just recently been introduced, that set, and it looks so badass. It's basically tailor-made for this build, or builds like it, so I've really got to try and find those if I can. It would be really awesome. So yeah, look, the build's going pretty dang well. Offensively, it's quite solid, and between the two heal spells, we're more or less able to stay alive decently. Like, our clear speed is to where we don't have too many troubles. If we can kill everything fairly quickly and make sure I'm rotating the heal spells not stupidly, we tend to go okay. But yeah, I mean, you can see, like, I can't even talk. Right now I've got 79% fire resistance, which is pretty much max, and yet these dudes with their fire explosions on death are almost managing to kill me in some instances. So that's probably the defensive ability and slightly lackluster armor. With some of our slots here, like Terror of the Groves armor, it's decent, like it's okay, and like these, I've still only got these plain old Devil Spalders because I haven't found anything better. That's what I'm saying when I mean I'm lacking in some gear options here. So, and I've been grinding, make no mistake. I haven't had much luck with the RNG, so it's a bit of a bummer, really. So anyways, guys, as you can see, this build's coming along really well, and I'll do a full proper guide discussion about how everything works in a proper, like, sexy, well-produced build video like I've done in the past, but just wanted to fill you in on how this is all going, and I'm really hoping for some more best-in-slot gear down the track, and hopefully we'll be further down the track in Ultimate as well, so I can confirm the viability of this build. But anyways, everybody, I'm going to leave it there. I think I have rambled enough. You get an idea as to how this build's progressed, and I'm pretty happy with it, but we just need to finagle it a little bit more to get it where it needs to go. So, yeah, please, your feedback is very, very welcome and probably warranted and needed right now, so make sure you do that down below. Otherwise, just leave a like or subscribe if you want to see this build in this final stage a little ways down the track. My name is Kluger, and you have a great day.